A boy woke in his bed, got up to enjoy the day. That wasn't till he looked at the calendar. "Oh boy, it's Easter Sunday," he exclaimed with lots of emotion in his voice. He knew what he needed to do, remembering what his grandfather used to tell him. "We do what we must do." Not that he's dead or anything, but the words do seem to be pretty important right now. The boy scrambles to the computer in a very hurried fashion to discover a dead computer. Dead being a metaphorical term, considering a computer can't die because a computer isn't a person. The boy remembers how to use a computer and presses the power button to turn it on. Suddenly, a pirate comes through the window. "You left your microwave on," he tells the boy in a very equally excited fashion. Knowing the consequences of his actions, he rushes to the kitchen to find his Hot Pocket burnt. With a tear in his eye, he picks up the Hot Pocket that was on the ground for no real explainable reason. We do what we must do. Before the boy leaves, he takes a bite of the Hot Pocket. The outside burns with a terrible passion, and the inside is cold as ice. With a mixture of pain and pleasure on his face, the boy runs back to the computer to find that it is on. "Please help me write a story for Easter," the boy cries to the computer, only to receive no response, due to the computer not being a person. Suddenly overcome with a mad emotion of rage, the boy proceeds to consume a Swedish fish with some level of aggression only visible to himself. "We do what we must do," says the boy in a muffled voice due to the sweet gummy goodness of the Swedish fish. He runs to the only place he knows he can go. The factory is empty, which is a good thing, for the thing the boy is about to do is absolutely terrible. The boy runs past a couple of offices before he finds it. A peep. Perfect in shape and the brightest yellow one could find. It's the perfect peep. The boy goes to pick up the peep, and only then does he notice a squirrel. He's clearly wounded. This does explain why the factory is empty. He was after what the boy was after. The peep. The boy wishes to help the squirrel, but the squirrel stops him. I'm done for, boy. Go take the peep. You can't let them have it. Remember. The squirrel dies in the boy's arms, for even though the squirrel didn't finish his sentence, the boy whispers as he lays the squirrel down to rest. We do what we must do. The boy begins to run, only to find a group of men largely composed of Italian mobsters. The one appears to be the leader of such mobsters says, "Well, boys, don't let him get away. He's got our peep." The boy turns to run, only to find even more mobsters around the corner. None of them move to catch him, however, ignoring the boy to look at the boss. "Well, Tony, it's high time we stopped chasing your precious peep." Several other mobsters pull out guns and point them at the man apparently named Tony, proceeding to discuss their displeasures with Tony's actions. You never taught me how to say hi to the Undertaker.
Oh, don't worry, I'll take
You're gonna
good
go
care of
straight to
Elise.
heck. Before they open fire, one of the mobsters look at the boy and say to him, "Remember, kiddo, we do what we must do." The boy runs. He doesn't see much of the fight, but by the time Tony is brought to his feet, more than half the mobsters who turned on him were dead. Wanting nothing more than to escape, the boy runs away, the peep held tightly in one of his many pockets in his cargo short. The boy runs away and doesn't stop until he gets home. When he finally gets there, the boy goes to his grandfather and kneels in front of him. He reaches into his pocket to retrieve the peep, and stands because the angle of his shorts makes it impossible to get the peep out of his pocket, presents it to his grandfather. After all, this is what this all was about. The boy's grandfather asked him the other day to bring him the finest peep he could find. "Oh, I actually wanted a can of peas,"